Yeah, we're excited to get going. There was a lot of obviously hypotheticals before the weekend as far as where we'd be sent, who would be playing. We know some of those answers now. We're excited to get to go and compete in Minnesota and play against a really good Colorado team who's had some impressive results. They can compete with really high-level teams in the country, and we're excited to go and test ourselves in that environment. So we're trying to do everything right now as far as prep work. We leave tomorrow, fly out to Minneapolis, and then we'll start to get adjusted to the gym and get ready for our match on Friday.
Coach, since you've been here almost a year now, did you expect to make it to the tournament in your first year? Was that one of your goals coming in?
Well, we laid out a plan and a path where that was, achievable, and I think that's what we tried to do. And our job as coaches is to put the team in a position to be successful as student athletes and as a group. Not everything's going to go right. Enough went right for us to achieve this. Obviously, this is the biggest one of the things that we're judged on as a group is to play in postseason and try to make a run in the NCAA tournament. It's what's exciting about the University of South Carolina athletic department right now is there's just so many teams that are competitive and successful on the national level, and I think our group is really takes a lot of pride in the fact that we can be one of those.
Coach, so coming from High Point, where you've done a lot of incredible things, you've been named Big South Coach of the Year, where do you put this right now, your list of accomplishments in your first year?
Well, every group is different and every year is different. We don't want, you compete. It goes from last spring through this fall is kind of just its own group, and you find a way to achieve it. I think the thing that's been the most exciting is we were able to do it at Creighton. We were able to kind of establish a little bit of a tradition. At High Point now they just made it again. So they've made it 3 years in a row. But when you're with a group when they do it for the first time, that's pretty exciting. And I think that was maybe the best part of seeing this group experience and see their name pop up on the bracket for the first time. It's why we were in it. We're in this as coaches to try to pay it forward and provide a good experience as far as being a student athlete and getting to compete and represent the University of South Carolina. So to see them achieve their goals is definitely a bright spot for us as the coaching staff.
Coach, you talk about every group being different, every year being different, but at the same time, it's quite a big turnaround from last year to this year, making it as far as this program has been in a long time. What changed?
Well, I think the buy-in was there from a student-athlete perspective. I think they really wanted to put in the work to get us here, and they wanted to work on both their individual games and the teamwork that it takes to, be successful on the level that they've been successful. So I don't think the attitudes have changed that much. I think that we've tried to set a really clear path as to what it actually takes to get there, and not put things like getting to the NCAA tournament on some unachievable pedestal. I think we tried to make it very realistic. Of if you want to do it, this is the path. This is what you need to do, and then let them go put the work in. Obviously we've added a couple of transfers that have solidified some areas that our game that were a little bit lacking last year. But I said it at the press conference when I first got here. This wasn't a tear it down and rebuild situation. There was talent in our gym. There were good players. There were players that were willing to work hard. We just tried to provide them a path and give them an opportunity to be successful. And then they just did they did the work and took it from there.
Given that this is the first time, is it a difficult process to kind of figure out who you're going to bring, or was that kind of already set before? I guess how does that process work?
As far as travel rosters, so NCAA SEC travel roster is 17 players. NCAA tournament travel roster is 15. So that's a tough choice. We carry 19. We carry 19 on our roster this year. So that means four of our student athletes aren't going to get to be in uniform, but they'll be there and getting to participate and be around the team and get to experience everything. So, that's tough to cut that roster size down. I mean, you understand it, but hopefully they still take pride in the fact that they've been a big component as far as getting the team here, whether they're in uniform or not on Friday. But that's a tough decision, and but that's a decision that you want to be tough as a coach. We're excited that we have a deep roster and a lot of people contributing. And hopefully they'll enjoy their experience regardless of whether or not they're in uniform.
What to me as far as going forward too, rebuilding and coming into a new place and doing it, learning your personalities, but also really for the future now you have a reputation, really for, good opportunity to grow for next year.
Yeah, we take the responsibility of representing the state of South Carolina very seriously. We want volleyball in this region to be nationally successful and nationally competitive. A lot of high school coaches or club coaches in the area have reached out and just said how much it means that we can show that South Carolina can compete against other areas and other regions. And we want to pay it forward. We want to try to help school programs and club programs to develop. We want to keep growing the game and providing that opportunity for young athletes to play volleyball at the highest level and not have to travel out of state or out of region to compete at the highest Division I level. So I think this proves that we can do that at the University of South Carolina. Obviously, there are still steps we can take to climb even higher, but this is a nice example of that the model works. We can do it here. Our top athletes don't have to leave state to go compete at this level.
Coach, this team is undefeated at neutral sites this year. What stock do you guys put in that now that you guys are going to the NCAA tournament?
Well, every environment's a little bit different. So many. You try to draw upon some experiences, but it's been a few months since we've played at a neutral site. So we'll try and look back at what we did well there. But it's a different team now, and it's such a short. We've been talking a lot with them. It's a one-match season. It's such a small sample size that you want to try to find those experiences that you can draw on, but it's going to be such a unique. You see the banners, you see the energy evolved in the NCAA tournament, and everything kind of speeds up a little bit. So yeah, hopefully there's some things we can draw on, but I think the ability just to adapt within the match is going to be really important because, like you said, it's an experience that not very many of them have been through. And hopefully they are excited about the challenge and are ready to meet it.
If you look back at anything like neutral opponents, Colorado played Georgia earlier this year and lost, is that something you put any stock in?
Yeah, obviously we look back at things we can do that Georgia took advantage of, but you look at Colorado's results. They've played some really competitive matches, beat some really good teams. They took Stanford to 5. They beat UCLA. So I think they're like anybody, where when they're playing well, they're really competitive and have some really good weapons. But I also think that we can go back and watch some of the film, and just find ways to try to make them as uncomfortable as possible, and balance that with trying to control our side of the net. And I think the volleyball is a sport that's very much about making sure that you're taking care of your side and playing at the highest possible level. And if we do that, then I think we can put some pressure on Colorado. But they're a good team. They deserve to be here just like we do.
How was practice today? Do you feel like the team's in the right place heading into Minnesota?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the things that we have been aware of is just that they haven't had to play this serious or meaningful volleyball this late in the season. So I think that's an adjustment for them as well. Of how do we, we started the season 4 months ago, and now we're trying to peak at the end of November, and that's a different experience. So I think we've been trying to stress for them the different things like nutrition and making sure they're taking care of their studies, and we have all those resources that are available. But yeah, it's just a different challenge they've had. So I think we're handling it well. I liked our practice today. I think same thing. We're still getting better. So I think even by practice, we're finding areas in our game that we can improve. And if you can still be getting better 4 months into the season, I think that's a positive sign.
Coach, this is a program that, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't made it to the NCAA tournament since 2002.
Yeah.
It's easy to, I guess, be happy with the fact of getting there, but how do you just kind of quell that idea and make sure that these young ladies are hungry to not just be satisfied with a tournament berth, but to try to go further than that?
Yeah, I think we're there now. I think we'll have to keep reminding them of that. I think once we get on site and you see the NCAA banners and you see just the energy that's around it, I think we want them to take it in, and we want them to be excited, and we want them to be happy about the fact that they're there. But we also want to make sure that we're focused on the things that are important. And once we start getting ready for pregame, that we're 100% dialed in. But yeah, there's different things that can make you uncomfortable at any point in the season. Whether it's playing in front of a home crowd or playing against an in-state rival. So I think we've had practice of being excited for matches and then learning how to dial it in to compete. So hopefully we can draw upon some of those. But there's that balance as a coach. They've earned this. They've earned the excitement. So we want them to enjoy it. We want to celebrate it as a group and individually. But we also have to understand why we're going to Minnesota, and that's to go and compete and get wins. There's that balance as a coaching staff, but I think that's where the leadership in the locker room hopefully will keep it dialed in.